Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about 水调歌头明月几时有 by Su Shi. Before we start the video, I would like to express my celebration to Teacher's Day, which is September 10th today. And also this poem or this song and also this video is a celebration to the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is the very important festival for Chinese. And this year, 2018, the Mid-Autumn Festival is exactly in 2 weeks, the Monday after next, September 24th. 明月几时有 perhaps the most popular and most famous poem on Mid-Autumn Festival. You will see the best sentences in 1,000 years from this poem here and there in today's China or among Chinese. 水调歌头 is actually the rhythm's name, and 明月几时有 is the poet's name. So in Song Dynasty, the most poem or 宋词 has a rhythm, so you can sing the poem as well. We don't know how it was sung in the Song Dynasty, but we have a very pop songs by the most famous female singers, Wang Fei. He sang this poem again with a modern rhythm. The song would be attached at the end of this video, and you can enjoy the poem or the song at the way of the Song people, even it's not in the same rhythm. 水调歌头明月几时有苏轼。丙辰中秋，欢饮达旦，大醉作此篇，兼怀子由。明月几时有？把酒问青天。不知天上宫阙，今夕是何年？我欲乘风归去，又恐琼楼玉宇，高处不胜寒。起舞弄清影，何似在人间？转朱阁，低绮户，照无眠。不应有恨，何事长向别时圆？人有悲欢离合，月有阴晴圆缺。此事古难全。但愿人长久，千里共婵娟。水调歌头 the name of the rhythm. It defines the rhythm. Also, it defines the pattern of the sentences, how many characters in a sentence and how in which sentences. Just very detailed descriptions. 明月几时有 So when we can have the bright moons, the 明月 normally refers to the full moon. 丙辰中秋，欢饮达旦，大醉作此篇，兼怀子由。So this is a little briefing before the poem. 丙辰中秋，丙辰 is the Chinese calendar. It refers to the year, the specific years. So it's in one of the Mid-Autumn Festival. So he drank all the night, 达旦 until the early morning. 旦 is the early morning. 大醉 totally drunk, dead drunk. 作词篇. So totally drunk. How can he wrote this poem? So that means a little bit later, he got a little bit consciousness. He write this poem. So maybe in the noon time, he came up and write this poem. 兼怀子由. 兼 means also. 怀子由. 怀 is thinking of or remind of. 子由 is his junior brothers. So he didn't say what he want to express in this poem, and his thinking of his brother is something also. It's not the main purpose. And also this poem was written in the Mid-Autumn Festival. So the main focus of this festival is to for the family gathering. If you cannot gather with your families, you do something to think of your family members, your best friends. So this is a weird question here. He is thinking of his junior brothers, but it's not focus of this poem. So let's see the status of Su Shi, the poet, for the time being. Su Shi is a genius, an outstanding genius among geniuses. So he passed the imperial exam in the early age and get the fame nationwide at a very young age. And then he go to the political career path as a normal people. And his father died, unfortunately, so he sent his carcass of his father to the hometown. That's the tradition of the Asian Chinese. And he just have a 3 years break to overlook the tomb of his father. That's also a tradition in the Asian China. No matter what kind of position is, even you are emperor. That's the Buddhism. That's the Confucianism. And after the 3 years break, he came back to the capital city. And unfortunately, the prime minister changed, and he has the political conflict or have the different opinions with the prime minister the time being. So he was abandoned to a remote place as usual. That's the time before this poem, roughly 5 years ago. And he also changed places to Shandong province today, Mizhou. And it is the place he write this poem at Shandong province today, in the age of 39. Generally speaking, 39 is still the most capable age of Su Shi. Is still quite ambitious, even he was abandoned to a remote place of Shandong province. And he also sent a lot of requests to the government to ask to reassign his position to the place where his junior brother stays, Ziyou, his junior brother. Because his father died, his junior brother is the only intimate relatives for him. So with all this background, and even with the family festival of Mid-Autumn Festival, he write this poem. The main focus is not his junior brother. So what it is of his main focus? my guess is still the political issues, the countries. And it's compared to the political issues, the countries, his brother is go to the next position. And at this time, the Song dynasty actually is quite prosperous economically, but quite weak because the big China geography is divided into 3 parts. So only the Song dynasty only take the southern part along the Yangtze River and the south to the Yangtze River. The traditional coal area of the Yellow River does not belong to the Song dynasty anymore. So all the intellectuals is thinking about to enrich the Song dynasty. That's the fundamental of the country issues. And then with the strong and powerful state, they can go back or conquer back the Yellow River areas. So that's the main focus almost for every intellectuals of Song dynasty. Okay, with all this background, let's look at the meaning of this simple poem. The best poem is always simple. 明月几时有，把酒问青天. So when we can have the full moon, and I'm grasp on the wine glass and asking for the heaven. 青天 is the blue sky, is a heaven. Here, asking to the heaven is actually borrowed from the 楚辞屈原. Remember, 风骚, the very fundamental of classic Chinese literature. 屈原 has a poem called 天问, so he has so many questions to ask the heaven, because 屈原 is also abandoned by the king, and he has so many furious inside, and also so many questions to ask the nature, to ask the country, the political, everything. So here, actually, with the background, it's very easily for us to understand. This poem actually is not fully about thinking about his brother. He's asking the heavens. If he's just thinking about his brother, there's no necessary to ask to the heavens. And also, the most great poet Li Bai has a poem called 把酒问月. So it's quite similar to this poem. Or I should say, Su Shi actually borrowed the idea from Li Bai as well. So it grasps on the wine glass and asking something. Because Qu Yuan didn't have the wine glass, he just asked to the heavens. And Li Bai take the glass of wine and ask to the moons actually. 不知天上宫阙，今夕是何年? So I don't know, in the heaven, there's a heaven palace as well. So the 宫阙 means the heaven palace. Which year is it in the heaven, above the heaven? So normally the classic Asian China, they think 1 day in the heaven equals 1 year on the earth. So that's also a reason the Su Shi asked which year it is above the heaven. 我欲乘风归去，又恐琼楼玉宇，高处不胜寒. So I'm planning to go back with the wind. Go back. So go back means he's going to the moons or to the heavens. So he think actually he's a very he's a person of the fairy tale. He's a sort of god. 又恐琼楼玉宇，高处不胜寒。So I'm also afraid of the jade palace in the heaven. It might be a little cold because it's very high. So that's the common sense. The higher you climb up, it's colder it is. Because of the coldness, I'd rather stay on the earth, and I danced with my shadows by the moonlight. 何似在人间? It doesn't look like on the earth at all. It's just like in the heavens. So with a little drunkenness, a glass of wine in the hand, the poet danced with his shadows on the ground. The cooler air, the crystal clear moonlight, everything makes it like in the heavens. So you needn't go to the heavens at all. So from the second paragraph, the poet decided to stay on the ground. 转朱阁，低绮户，照无眠. So he looked up. The moon crossed the skies, crossed the roof of the house. 朱阁, the right mention. 转朱阁，低绮户. So the shadows through the window. 绮户 is a very beautiful windows with carved creatures or flowers. So because the moving of the moon across the sky, the shadows through the windows is getting lower. And 照无眠, the whole night the moon shines on the sleepless person. 无眠, sleepless, which is the poet himself. 影恨，何事长向别时圆? This is a complaint to the moon. You shouldn't have some of the hate or sorrow to the people. If not, why you always have a full moon, or you became full moon when we people departed. So that's a complaint to the moon by the poet. And followed 人有悲欢离合，月有阴晴圆缺. It's such a big sorrow for the poet. He cannot think about the answer of the complaints. Why the moon became so full moon when I'm departed with my junior brothers? He had to explain to himself and make himself more easier with the festivals. 人有悲欢离合, so that's quite ordinary. The people has the happiness, has the sadness, 悲欢, and also the people reunion, they depart. So that's the very ordinary for people. So does the moon. The moon could be a clear moon and could be overcast. 圆缺, it could be a full moon and also could be crescent. So that's quite normal. The moon is same as us people. So that's so natural. 此事古难全. Since the ancient times, it never can be a very perfect way. So you have the happy, you would have the sadness. It's not always perfect. 但愿人长久，千里共婵娟. So the final request from the poet or the wishes is, I hope you, my brother, or all the people and the moon can be well and stays longer, live longer, 人长久 and 千里共婵娟. So with such we can always share the same moon even we are apart 1,000 miles away. 千里共婵娟. 婵娟 refers to beautiful girls, and here it's the metaphor for the moon. So even we are apart 1,000 miles away, we can still share the same moon, and which connect our family members or best friends. That's the connection. You don't have WhatsApp, you don't have WeChat, you don't have telephones, you don't have mobile phones. The moon is the connection in the ancient China. Okay, that's for the poem and my boring explanations for this poem. Let's have the songs by Wang Fei, one of my favorite songs.